If you found yourself in the middle of a zombie apocalypse, which zombies would you rather go up against? The large hordes of shamblers in Project Zomboid, or the ferals in 7 Days to Die? To figure out which zombies are better, and which would give you the best chance of survival, we'll need to compare them using 7 key criteria. Let's kick things off with speed. Now, 7 Days zombies are fast, and they love to get up in your face, but they're not all sprinting around all the time. Actually, in both games, most of your zombie encounters will be with slow walkers. 7 Days introduces you to the first zombies as soon as you start completing the tutorial quest. There'll be a few scattered around the starting area, but their default speed is so slow, you could pretty much walk away if you wanted to. Around 40 minutes into the game, things start getting spicy. When it gets dark, all the previously slow shamblers will start sprinting. Running away isn't really an option anymore. You can of course avoid all this by hiding out indoors, but only for so long. Now, in comparison, Project Zomboid starts you off in a random house somewhere in the map. You'll encounter your first zombie, or more like your first 20, the second that you step out of your house. There's no starting quest or tutorial, so how long that takes you depends entirely on you. I hear some people like to close the curtains and just sit around watching TV for a few weeks. Either way, when you do meet your first zombie, you'll notice that they'll have 2 speed settings: slow shamble and slightly faster shamble. They'll slow shamble towards you until they get close, and then stretch out their arms and walk faster to grab you. You can also pretty much walk away since your walking speed will always be slightly faster than the zombies. Zombie speed rating: Project Zomboid 6 out of 10, 7 Days 9 out of 10. 7 Days zombies take the point for this category because of the speed variety. Nighttime sprinters and different variants make the zombies a little bit more scary and challenging to fight. Next, let's look at strength. To puzzle this one out, we'll need to consider a few factors, including player strength, weapon availability, and any special zombie mechanics. Let's take the most basic and easy to obtain weapon of each game, and then smack a zombie with it. In Project Zomboid, it'll take between 6 to 8 swings to take down a zombie with a rolling pin, with no character bonuses. In 7 Days, a level 1 club will be around the same. So at a glance, they seem pretty even, but that's before we consider all the additional multipliers. 7 Days has a ton. There's sneak damage, headshot damage, bleeding damage, and later things like shock, fire, and explosive weapons as well. In Project Zomboid, you don't get those. Your character does get more proficient with weapons as they use them, but it takes a long time. There is headshot damage, but it's very situational, and the zombies are immune to pretty much everything else, including bleed and fall damage. Even fires can take hours. The other way you can improve your fighting ability is with stronger weapons, machetes and katanas being at the top of the list. Unfortunately, there's some of the rarest items in the game, so you won't be coming across them very often. On the other hand, 7 Days throws new weapons and schematics at you all the time. You can find, upgrade, repair, craft, and buy weapons from the vendors, so it's rarely a problem. You're also allowed to use more powerful and ranged weapons like bows, guns, and grenades. Strength rating: Project Zomboid 9 out of 10, 7 Days 5 out of 10. Compared to the strength of the player, the zombies in Project Zomboid are a lot more powerful. Project Zomboid zombies easily win this one. Now it's time to discuss numbers. Zombie numbers, that is. While both games will increase their zombie counts over time, there is a massive difference between the amounts. In 7 Days, there is a default cap of 64 zombies spawned into a single-player world. They can be spawned, despawned, and moved around, but the number will remain pretty consistent. The game relies on increasing challenge through stronger and more varied mechanics, rather than numbers alone. Once a single zombie is taken out, it can be replaced, but you'll never find yourself overrun with a massive wave. Project Zomboid, on the other hand, is known for its mega hordes. An average group size in Zomboid is about 20, and there can be tons of those in a single area. The map is estimated to have around 52,000 zombies in total. Some areas are so densely packed, it takes real-life hours to make progress. A good example is the shopping mall, which by itself holds approximately 4,000 zombies. Zombie numbers rating: Project Zomboid 10 out of 10, 7 Days 4 out of 10. Zomboid has one of the largest and most densely populated maps of enemies I have ever experienced. I don't think anything else needs to be said here. Zomboid wins this category. Next up, zombie awareness. How keen are the zombies' senses and their player tracking abilities? In 7 Days to Die, there are a few mechanics to help them locate the player, mainly sight, sound, and heat. When you perform actions in the game, you generate heat in the area. This includes almost everything from chopping trees to crafting and burning torches. The more heat in the area, the more zombies will be spawned who go out searching for you. There are even specialty zombies called screamers who will screech when they see you, creating a mini horde. So, while not particularly observant during the day, 7-day zombies will seek out the player very aggressively at night and during the blood moons. The zombies in Project Zomboid are a lot less cooperative. They don't actively seek out the player, rather just wander around following any sound they hear, whether it's thunder or a shotgun blast. What PZ zombies do have is eagle vision. It is insanely strong and very long range. Zombies can spot you through grass, across a field, and even through walls for a certain amount of time during a chase. Their vision is so keen that stealth isn't really a viable playstyle. In a straight line, a zombie will never lose the player. This leads to a domino effect where being spotted by one zombie alerts other zombies, and before you know it, you have to fight the entire neighborhood. Zombie awareness rating. Project Zomboid 9 out of 10, 7 days 8 out of 10. These two feel pretty close, but the eagle eyes of Zomboid zombies combined with their numbers make them unavoidable in most situations. You can avoid detection with distance and sneak in 7 days, but nothing will stop you from being spotted in a city full of zombies in Zomboid. Now, let's consider intelligence. Spotting the player is one thing, but what do the zombies do with that information? For a lack of a better description, the zombies in Project Zomboid are not the sharpest tools in the shed. They may be able to path up the stairs to reach you, but they can also be easily fooled. Running around a building is the easiest way to lose a horde, since they'll try to break through rather than going around. They also have an unhealthy obsession with breaking doors and windows, so much so that they'll sometimes completely ignore the player in favor of smacking a door. In contrast, 7-day zombies display a lot of intelligence when hunting a player. Instead of picking the most direct path, they'll choose the path with the least resistance instead. This can lead to some interesting surprises. Running, jumping, and using other zombies to climb up are all very common. Zombie intelligence rating. Project Zomboid 5 out of 10, 7 days 9 out of 10. PZ zombies are more unavoidable due to their numbers, but they're a lot easier to outsmart. 7-day zombies take the point on this one. Next, let's look at variety. Specifically, the types of zombies you can find in the game. In Project Zomboid, there are two different types, the walking shambling zombie and the crawler. Now, the walkers all have the same strength and health, but the crawlers get some unique abilities, mostly to mess with the player's defenses. They can get under cars and knock down barricades that the walkers can't reach. In comparison, 7 Days has a ton of specialty zombies, each with their own unique stats and abilities. There are normal zombies, tough zombies with more health, a bunch of special infected with unique abilities. There's even animal zombies who can fly and sprint around, mostly unaffected by daylight. Zombie variety rating. Project Zomboid 3 out of 10, 7 Days 9 out of 10. 7 Days easily takes the win for this one, forcing you to get creative and work around zombie special abilities. And lastly, zombie behavior. What do they act like out in the world? This one is probably the most important for fear factor, since seeing a zombie just idling waiting for the player can feel a little immersion breaking. In 7 Days, most zombies don't move around much until they hear the player, but they do compensate for it in a big way with how they act when they come to life. In Project Zomboid, the hordes have a passive life of their own, and they'll move around the game world responding to random sounds. This makes them feel a lot more real. Zombie behavior rating. Project Zomboid 9 out of 10, 7 Days 7 out of 10. Zomboid takes the win for this final category. Observing the zombies respond to random sounds and live a life outside of the player's actions adds a lot of realism. Now, to answer the key questions, which game has better zombies, and which do you have a better chance of surviving? The zombies in Project Zomboid won 4 out of the 7 categories and scored higher, giving them the win for the better zombies overall. While each has their strengths, Zomboid zombie behavior is more realistic and inherently more deadly. The player is at a huge disadvantage when going against large hordes carrying an incurable virus, which means you stand a better chance of survival in the universe of 7 Days to Die. Even if you can't respawn, you can use stealth and powerful weapons to control the hordes. The longer you survive, the stronger you'll become, until eventually you'll be able to build an almost impenetrable base like Trader Joel. How long do you think you could survive in a zombie apocalypse? Let me know in the comments below and subscribe to the channel for more survival game content. Thanks for watching!